determination to conquer all my ambitions. Despite all the conditions, in light of my past decisions, made it to this position, and so my disposition, not seeing no limits, killing the competition. Yeah, I'm a beast, now I'm unleashed, ready to feast, calm and peace, not in the least.
And we are live. What's going on, people? Welcome to the next podcast. My apologies, I had some technical difficulties. The duct tape, it really wasn't working, so I had to go ahead and staple shit together. But guys, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. I am really excited to get into these topics with this stellar panel that we have here every Saturday. And if you don't know who they are, I am about to do the intros. Starting off with the man that you don't want in your squad in PUBG because he will try to run you over. It is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long story about getting run over in PUBG, but don't worry about it.
Dude,
we got
you chased me around a tree. You were doing rings around a tree, and then you're like, get in. You're just like, get in. Like,
listen here. Just because your socks are wet doesn't mean I was trying to run you over.
Dude, I don't even wear socks in the game. I don't know what you're talking about right now, man. No socks, no pants, dressed for success. That's the way I go in PUBG, man. But next on the list, making his 20th first appearance, because this guy is the most part-time, full-time panelist on the next podcast. Of course, he is out there saving the world. I am talking Dark Autobus!
Hey, what's up, everyone? I like that little intro there, man. That was
the
that
most
was funny.
part-time, full-time panelist on here. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, man, I'm ready to get into these topics. The show should be fired tonight.
Guys, and as we're going through the intros, check this out. This is last week's gameplay. This is the gameplay that won it last week, and K-Mega decided he was going to go on vacation. That was going to be his reward, and he didn't put in gameplay this week. So, guys, when it comes to the gameplay voting, it is going to be between 3 people tonight at the end of the show, and that's going to be Predator, it's going to be me, and it's going to be the Don. So get ready for that going towards the end of the show. On Twitter, I will put the poll up. But
I thought
now that I'm looking at it,
he keeps crashing into stuff. Is this the gameplay you won with?
He is eating.
This is the gameplay he won with?
Yes.
Oh, God. Looks like trash.
Oh,
right.
no. Well, next, let me introduce people, man. Hold on. Next on my intro list is quite possibly the absolute gamer of the podcast. Just from his gameplay to that he put in for tonight, man, I gotta say, it is absolutely wild. I am talking about Predator!
Yo, what's up, man? The official 6th man of the gaming community on everybody's podcast. Had the best footage last week. I don't know how the fuck I lost and got last place at that. But whatever, man. I got some new footage this week, so hopefully it wins. And if not, your fan base sucks.
Oh, actually, it's our fan base, man. They come to see. They come to see and hear all of us, man. I'm saying, but
I mean, they're a little bit more Xbox fan base, but yeah, I get it.
A little bit. Well, guys,
you feel me, right? Yeah.
I gotta say, Predator's gameplay. Yo, be on the lookout for Predator's gameplay tonight. I sat here when I was putting everything together. I have to link everybody's video, like everybody's gameplay together and stuff like that. I could not stop watching Predator's gameplay. I watched it all the way through. So you guys are in for a treat with that. I still think I'm gonna win, but I have to give props to Pred, man. That's some sick gameplay you got for tonight.
Well, I thought I had the best gameplay last week, and I still lost. So we'll see what happens.
No, but you didn't. I did. It was. I think Russia meddled in our poll. Actually, that's what I think happened, man. I'm looking to indict possibly 13 people. But anyway, yo, next on the list, coming live from the 405, and believe it or not, we were already guest appearing on a podcast today, so we are double dipping. It is my brother K Mega.
Yeah, man, what's up, man? I'm over here playing Triple Cup Chuck and Mad right now. And look, Bot is full of shit because he told us beforehand the winner that had the gameplay, they could take the week off. But I gave Bot gameplay a couple of weeks ago and told him, hey, Bot, can you over here implement that gameplay? Oh, I can't find it. You know what? That gameplay would have been the winner just like that because I had some true heat, Jack.
You decided to take a vacation, get a mani-pedi done. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah. We see how this is. Look, you can still vote for this gameplay. I don't know where Bot come with these crazy ass rules. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of it is that he gave the rules stating that, look, you know what I'm saying? You win, you don't have to show the gameplay. You can take the time off. Now he's over here saying something else. My next gameplay is going to be so fire that I probably will win for the rest of this contest.
My goodness!
I don't know what the hell K-Meg is talking about. I thought we're always supposed to bring gameplay every week. I don't know what K-Meg is talking about. He's making up rules.
Yeah, so everybody in the chat is hashtag Xbox fault, man. What is going on here? Yo.
Yeah, man. You can't say anything crazy like that, man. I mean, look, and the gameplay is still solid, so I got put in a disadvantage because I already gave Bot some extra shit from a couple of weeks ago.
Mega, check this out.
And I sent it late to him.
I'm going to be evolving this more and more like as we go. But if you notice where it says next and that whole side like overlay, there's a gold kind of like glow to it. That's only for your gameplay, man.
Of course, I'm the winner.
Yeah,
I'm the winner.
See, you know what? You don't appreciate.
Don't let him win anymore, people. Don't let him win anymore. He gets a big head in it.
Because the fans, you know what I'm saying? The listeners, they decided. It wasn't you bums. It was the listeners. And you know what? I really appreciate them. For them, much love and dedication and support.
Yeah, I love
all
that.
The Trump supporters out there, they're having
oh man,
for you guys.
Oh shoot! Oh man,
we should have voted for Meg. We should have voted for Fred. I don't know what the fucking problem is.
I would have voted for Predator.
I love that we got this going again. By the way,
I think the whole gameplay thing is rigged. I think K-Mega paid some people off in Russia.
Well, hey, Dark. Just to let you know, the first time I win, K-Mega's going to be like, well, you set it up. You watched everybody's gameplay, and then you put your gameplay in to make sure it was better and all this good stuff. You're not going to hear the end of it when I win. Yeah. Trust me, man.
I figured.
I was going to be nice. I've been nice to K-Mega. I was going to do Lock Dying over and over again on repeat. But I figured I'd be nice to K-Mega.
All right, guys.
Steep.
Well, as usual, I got a few shout-outs. There's a few people on the panel that haven't been able to make it or whatnot. So, first off, I want to shout out our boy Fuskies. The golden voice of the next podcast. Which, if he was in right now, he would literally say that he should win gameplay, even if he didn't give any gameplay. But so huge shout out to Fuskies out there doing it big time in that game called Life. And then of course, Oh Snap It's Mel, who's out there peddling them peanut butter cookies as usual. So huge shout out to her. I don't know if she's on delivery, if she's kind of cracking.
Hi, Xbot. I think you're lying. What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday. I am joining the next podcast tonight. Nice. Really excited. The PUBG Uber Queen is here.
So if anybody needs a ride to the show,
don't call me. You won't live.
Call Uber. Call Uber and say you want #1 Uber driver extraordinaire from PUBG.
Does not Mel. My driving has gotten better though. That's all I'm gonna say.
My
honestly, I would take my chances. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Dark.
What's up, guys, on the panel? I haven't talked to you guys in forever, except for Don. He's a terrible, terrible PUBG partner. Just saying.
You sit there and hide in my blind spot, and next thing you know, you're like, "Why am I on the ground? Am I dead?" I'm like, "I don't know. What happened?"
I don't know. Maybe you should have never jumped out of the car.
Hey, I ran me over, guys.
I got really good insurance, so I wasn't worried about it, but Mel was worried.
Lies.
Yeah, Dirty J, I think he's a survivor in O Snap's car when it comes to PUBG. He survives.
He's the only one I haven't killed yet. And I tried to, and I failed.
Hold on, was it Vogel that you told him to, because he didn't have time to write his will? You told him.
Oh, yeah. Best clip ever. I'm going to actually upload that to YouTube, all in its own, because you and Dirty J were talking smack about my driving, and then Vogel was just like blah blah blah, and I was like, well, you have time to write your will now. I was like, you have 3 minutes. Literally, like 2.5 minutes later, that's when we started crashing. So
Nice.
best day ever.
Nice.
But yeah.
I gotta say, it is awesome to have you on the show live, and I think K Mega's gonna be happy. He says that every time you're on, you keep me in check, like I go wild or something like that. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about shit about his gameplay. He won fair and square, and he should win every week.
Oh no!
Shit.
I love it.
Xbox cheats, you guys.
Yes, I love it.
And next time I make dinner, I'm gonna make your dish extra special. There's gonna be special spice in there. All right.
Yeah. You treat that girl with respect. And, you know what I'm saying? She's a true queen. Listen to this. Appreciate the love. Oh, snap suckers. Glad that you back. And as you see, my old winter gameplay of The Witcher. Let's go.
Dude, this game was.
I wish K Mega would just shut up by now.
What's up with all the sheep?
Oh man,
I was gonna.
You guys are killing me. I gotta pull up the Twitter DM to start looking at the topics to see what we're gonna do first. We're off the rails.
I got it in the side chat over there.
We are off the rails already, people. But yeah,
it's because K Mega's got a big head, man.
Man, what are you talking about? I gave much love to the listeners, man. What are you talking about? Y'all are really y'all rotten, man. Y'all rotten to the core. You could have just lost it in overtime. With 1 second left, he kicked the field goal, made some miraculous pass.
Pick his ass, Triple Cup.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Triple Cup.
Good win, Triple Cup.
Hey, K Mega, serious question. So is Triple Cup? Is he up?
He's up. He's up by one. He kicked it in overtime with 1 second left and got the win. But it was a good game. It was a good game. Good game.
All right, nice. Here we go. We're gonna get into the topics now, guys. It only took about 17 minutes or so. Yeah. But guys, first thing I want to talk about is something I am really excited for. It's a game coming out March 20th. It is called Sea of Thieves. It's an open world pirate game. You get quests from different vendors. There's 3 different divisions of vendors that have different quests. You go out, you get these treasures, you bring them back, collect money, and people thought with the beta and everything like that was all there is to this game. But Craig Duncan from Rare came out and he actually gave a lot of detail as to the content in this game and why people are going to keep on playing it. So, like I said before, 3 different kind of like factions that you can do these missions or voyages for. But at a certain point in time, you've done so many missions and stuff like that a special group of people come out and they start offering you even harder missions. I think at that point in time, you become what they call a quote-unquote legendary pirate. Now, the group of people that comes out depends on like who you've done missions for the most. So, you know, the group of people that come out for my legendary missions could be different than K Mega's, could be different than the Don's, you know, so on and so forth, which I think brings variety. It brings spice to the game. But with being a legendary pirate, you unlock the hideout. It's a hidden location underneath a waterfall that you can go to with your crew in case you need to wait for stuff to cool down. If you're getting chased by a bunch of pirate ships and stuff like that. They're going to have something like raids, which are skeleton strongholds, which I find really interesting is... There's going to be scattered islands throughout the map that have these skeleton strongholds, and you'll be able to tell where they are by this huge cloud. It's in the shape of a skull. It has green glowing eyes hanging over it.
That looks amazing. I'm sorry for jumping in, but that absolutely looks amazing. I got a little bit of chills when I saw it. I was like, ooh.
It kind of looks like the what in Harry Potter when they would do that whatever snake skull thing in the air. It kind of reminds me of that.
All right. Well, instead of going in and just describing everything, because so much came out of it, I'm going to start asking questions with the panel. Now, Snaps, do you know about the legendary status, kind of like the progression that they talked about with Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, you kind of told me about it. I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I'm just kind of waiting for the game to come out.
So you're already excited for the game, even just by playing the beta and stuff like that.
Right now it says Sea of Thieves is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. But I got to choose my character. For that.
How do you feel about the choice in characters? Because you can't necessarily customize your own character, but they give you a wheel of characters. If you don't like those, you can refresh the wheel and kind of keep going until you find one you like. Is that good enough in terms of customization for you, Snaps?
Well, right now it's really choppy. Like when I actually chose a character, it became all blocky around the edges of the arms. I think it's really cool. I want to be able to customize a character like from head to toe. But I'm just selfish. I do like that you get more options. It's just I think it's really important for gamers to be able to customize to their what exactly they want. So many games have customization where you can create your character from the beginning and build them up with facial features and things like that, and I definitely want to see that implemented into Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, like when I heard about the customization, I was like, really? You can't go and pick which face and if you want a scar here or there or whatever. But I like the fact that you can kind of refresh the wheel, and I'll sit there for an hour. I don't care until my pirate pops up. If it takes that long.
No, you won't.
All right. Well,
wow, these all look the same.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, how do you know when their kind of like assortment runs out and they start kind of like recycling, going back to the beginning?
I already refreshed the wheel once, and like 4 of them looked pretty much the same as the other ones, just as ugly.
Damn it! Okay. Oh man! As long as I got a guy pirate with a dress on, we'll win the game. That's all I gotta say. But
you look like that in real life, so I mean, of course you'd want that in a game.
I'm wearing a dress right now. People are telling me to wear pants, but anyway, let's see, Dark Optimus, because I like how your taste in games, I think, is completely different than the rest of the panel or whatnot. So what do you think about kind of like the progression, going to become a legendary pirate, having a new crew kind of come up and give you legendary voyages and missions and stuff like that, but you're not done yet either, because you keep on doing that stuff. You become a legendary captain where you'll actually spawn in the hideout, and that's when you get your customizable pirate ship. What do you think about this, the progression system? Do you think it's something that's going to be, dare I say, intuitive, kind of like replay value? People are going to keep playing to hit those statuses? What do you think, man?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, is that that's what they need. They need something that's, that's going to have the longevity. And it seems like with this progression system, it seems like that's what they're aiming for, is to have, almost an MMO type of, game, without it being an actual MMO. Because it doesn't seem like it'll be that type of, it just seems like they're doing something a little different with this one than they would have if it was like a regular MMO. But I mean, from what I read, the whole, skeleton forts and things like that, it just seems like it's gonna definitely have the gameplay that'll take you months and months to, either beat, or you're just going to continue until the DLC comes out, and then when the DLC comes out, you're just going to keep on going with it.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't know if it's...
just one second. You brought up a couple really good points. First of all, you said DLC, which Rare came out and said that there's not going to be quote unquote loot crates. Kind of like the bad words of the gaming industry ever since I would say Star Wars Battlefront 2. That whole thing. Then all of a sudden, loot crates became insanely bad. So they're not having loot crates. When you talk about the skeleton strongholds or the skeleton forts, the one thing that I like about that is you have to go in there. It's an army of skeletons, but when your main goal is to take out the captain, because the captain has the key to the vault. Now, the one thing I really like is as you're doing all this, that cloud that's in the sky that shows people that's a skeleton fort, stays there. And then when you open the vault, like even if you have a squad of 5 or whatnot, you won't be able to take all the chests to your ship at once. So you have to decide whether or not you want to go back and get the rest of the treasure, which, that is a decision right there, because, there are other pirate ships going on. They could steal your treasure while you're going back. They could sink your ship, all that good stuff. So is this the game? Is this more of the game that, like, when they talked about Sea of Thieves, like, first and foremost, is this a game that sounds more like a complete game to you now?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like what they're trying to do is really focus on that end game content, which is understandable because this is the huge, massive online multiplayer type of game. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's gonna be interesting to see what the end game's really gonna be like, because we haven't seen it yet. It hasn't been in the beta and it hasn't really shown any pictures and things like that. But it's gonna be interesting to see.
All right,
I'm kind of interested.
Do you think Rare should do a completely open beta before they launch the game?
No, I think they should have a surprise. Leave us with some suspense. I think it'll definitely generate more people going in and wanting to buy it, or get Game Pass for it.
Dark wants Craig Duncan to tease him, is what he's saying right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to have a little tease in gaming. Nowadays they show too much of gameplay, and then people get bored and they get, they don't want to play it anymore or whatever.
I got you, man. Yeah, it definitely. I don't know. To me, the game's more like, when you say end game, I think Destiny 2 and all that good stuff. But I think the whole game is kind of like the end game, which is really weird, but that's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like every mission has its own story. But let's move on to K Mega, who just got that L. Triple Cup Chuck, what's up, man? But Mega, what do you think about the content that Craig Duncan and Rare talked about in terms of this game? Does it get you excited? And what in your opinion is the one thing that you're most excited about with what they talked about?
Well, yeah, no, I may be a loser too in Madden in an overtime game that went to 1 second and he kicked the field goal to win. Yeah, but I'm a winner at life and at gameplay. So don't forget that. Anyway, thanks to the wonderful listeners. Right now, man. Wait, thank you. Fred is this is it's mediocre. It's good. I don't know what to say. Shout out to my boy Pray, and thanks so much to the listeners for supporting your boy K Mega 405. Anyway, let's damn,
you sound like a politician, man.
What did you call him last week? K Mega? What did you call K Mega last week? What type of politician?
What?
He called me something. He calls me me
Black Republican.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, there we go. Anyway.
The setup just fell flat. I'm sorry.
I couldn't keep up with it, man. My bad.
We're going all over the place. Look,
shout out to Dirty J.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay, gentlemen, lady, my thoughts on Sea of Thieves. It's going to be fantastic. Now, I will say this though. I am very concerned about doing the customizing from head to toe. And what I'm saying, I don't like that. I wish that they would implement more. Hopefully that they'll add a patch later on into the game. I know they got to focus on other things, but the one thing that's more important, that's the most important thing to me, is that I want my character to look as unique as I can get him, what I'm saying. So I'm not very happy about that. But for everything else that you've heard and what we've read, I can't be more excited about it. I mean, it's something that was kind of on my radar because of this fact that it's going to be an online streaming game, but then it turned into now like, oh, I'm all in. I can't wait. The Kraken, all of these other things that's going to be implemented into it. The customizer with the boats. The more that you play, your boats will get better and stuff like that. Man, it's dope, man. Like I said, I already got it pre-ordered. I'm going to be in my black outfit. Only thing I need is a gold tooth and some dreads, and I'm ready to go.
Now, Mega, with the like the two bigger pieces, and I love that we're talking about. First of all, I love that we're talking about the customization, which Snaps brought up, because I haven't heard too many people talk about that. So it's a good thing to bring up and let gamers out there know about that. Now, with like the progression system, and then the fact that they have like these forts, these skeleton forts, which means, you know, the world is more alive in the actual game. Out of those two, which one do you think is the most important, like, to the game, and why, man?
Well, the most important thing is the game being so immersed to where you feel like it's alive. That's the most important thing, because if you get into a game that's like this and you just get in with some friends, or if you get in there by yourself, let's just say your friends just can't make it that time, and it's just ho hum, you know, and it gives that feel kind of like when you play the beta. When you play by yourself, it's not as fun. But if you play by yourself and you got all these things going on around in the world to make it feel more alive, that's the most important thing, I think, because you can play it single player. That was the thing that had me more concerned than anything, was if I wanted to play the game by myself and build up my character, if other people can't join, then you see what I'm saying? It kind of like I got to wait for my friends to jump on and play, or just jump with randoms. On this, I can go ahead and build up and get my character right. And so when me and my crew get together, you know what I'm saying, I could probably have an advantage, and then I could help them, assist them to get to a higher point.
Can I just jump in real quick? When I've played with randoms, and I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but everybody that I have played with as a random has been a pretty decent person on Sea of Thieves. Like, that's really unusual. Usually you get into a group of randoms and they act like maniacs and start killing you and stuff. Nobody has been really a jerk on Sea of Thieves. Like, has anybody experienced that?
Well, last time I jumped in with randoms, the first thing they did, as soon as I got spawned into the ship, they locked me up. Like, that was the first thing they did.
That wasn't randoms. That was your friends. That was totally me. So.
I didn't know any of their names. So randoms to me, man.
Nah, so I've approached cool people so far.
So Mel, you're saying nobody runs over you with a Jeep as you're trying
to
go up the hill and shoot a crossbow at you? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I think about you, Don. We're not friends anymore. You're not allowed to play in my PUBG games either. I don't mean that.
Yo, Don, if we play tonight, I will invite you in, okay? No problem.
All right.
No, but
I'll put pants on so she won't recognize me.
I can't stand you. Oh man, I totally lost my train of thought. But yeah. Wait, no. When you play alone, right? You have the smaller ship and whatnot. Like, can your friends join in on that game? And like, I know you can have a ship of 1, right? And then you can have a ship of 2, and then it's 4. But can you build up on a ship? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you wanted to add more people to your group,
I don't
like that, that'll be really important, because you don't want to keep starting over. Like, I like to go in solo games sometimes nowadays. So it's kind of like disappointing if I'm going to lose that.
Playing single player?
Sometimes, yes.
Oh, man.
But
Snaps, to answer your question, yes, it does that in the beta. So I've joined up with people that are already on the seas, already in the middle of an adventure, and it lets you just drop in, drop out.
No, yeah, but you're not going to keep your ship though, correct? Like, no, let's say you start building up.
I hope they make like a channel where it's easier for you being on a single ship to join somebody who's trying to build a multiple ship, like not bring you all the way back to the menu and just kind of slide you across in the game into a different server. I hope they do something like that, but I don't see, like, if all of a sudden your friends want to join and you got like 3 friends who want to join, all of a sudden your ship just morphs into the big one real quick.
I do recall them mentioning something about like having like a spawn spot, like basically your little hideout or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you would spawn on whatever ship that you've built up, but you know, is that before you become legendary or something along those lines?
You have to be legendary. Legendary pirate opens up that hideout.
I hope you're wrong.
For you to go in. But legendary captain is when you actually spawn in that hideout, and that's when you get the ship that you can customize and make your own. So,
well, I hope we have some like little hideouts that we don't have to keep changing ships. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. Well, Snaps, because I asked K Mega, I'm gonna go down and ask everybody like across the board. Now you know about the kind of like the level progression in the game, and kind of like that living world aspect when it comes to the skeleton forts and everything like that. So out of those two, which one do you think is most important? Bless you, and why?
Thank you. What level progression with the skeletons? What are you talking about?
Well, the level progression where you're doing these missions to become a legendary pirate. A new group of people come up, give you harder missions to become a legendary captain, and kind of like the rewards to this is the hideout and then the customizable ship and everything like that. Which one is more important, that or kind of like the living world with the skeleton forts and stuff to do, without having to go to the guys to get voyages and stuff?
I mean, I don't know.
It's a good question. Tough. Good question.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want to be able to progress and be able to build up your character and all that good stuff. I mean, I guess that would be more important to me. I'm really upset about the skeletons, and they better add in some coins like every time you beat them, because they really need to do something with skeletons. They're I feel like they're pointless.
Kind of generic.
You're just fighting them. Yeah, like you're just fighting them to fight them, but they're really stupid. That's just my personal opinion. I just think that they need to give you some type of reward for them because they're annoying as hell. But that would be also something as far as you're leveling up your character and progressing. And as far as the world, I mean, it's important to have everything working smoothly together. I mean, I don't really care about the skeletons, though.
That is a very PC answer right there. You kind of said both of them are important, and you didn't really give me a one or the other.
I don't want to give a one or the other. I mean, progression, I feel like it would be more important to me, but they're kind of going to all go hand in hand.
That is true. I'll give you that. I thought it was a good question, but,
Question sucks. Next.
All right, next. Predator. If I remember correctly, I don't think, like, you're crazy big on this game, but what do you think about the news that dropped, the content and everything? Did it get you more excited? What's going on? What are your feelings, man?
I played it I won't say yesterday, day before yesterday, and like I'm still kind of on the fence, but I got Game Pass, so that kind of solves that mystery right there. So I'll be playing on Game Pass, but if I had to drop $60 on this game, I think the only reason I would do it was because all my friends were playing. This is that type of game you have to play with your friends. And I did play with a bunch of randoms the other day, and everybody had headsets and everything was working smooth. And it was fun. I blew 2 hours and didn't even know it, but I played earlier on in the alpha and it sucked, so people weren't playing with headsets, there wasn't a lot of content there. So hopefully, when I play on Game Pass, it'll, change my stance on the game right now. I just think it's missing something.
Hold on, I gotta give a huge
you got to pay the bills, bro.
Biggie, yo, thank you so much for your support, man. I really do appreciate it. Let's see, he said right here, hey, you guys are awesome and haven't done anything for you yet. Hope this helps. Dude, it helps immensely. You have no idea. Thank you so much, man. Damn.
And somebody else dropped I think $20 in chat earlier. I think we missed it though.
I didn't see it. I was probably too
busy. I saw the $5 spot.
It was right when we started. I forgot his name.
I'll go back. Let me go back up. I'll find it.
All right, appreciate it, man. But Pray, keep going, man. While we're digging.
It was $10, and it was a guy named Michael. And excuse me, because I'm going to be country. Chili Roll. I don't know how to say your name. It was $10. Thank you. And he said, "Hit that." So I think that meant hit that like or hit that like for K Mega's gameplay. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Well, guys, when it comes to the gameplay, you see the fire going on right now, and this is a tutorial for K Mega on how to play SSX. So, watch intently, people.
Oh, dang! Look at the skills.
We got slow motion and everything, man.
Brad, please continue. You don't want to do
All
right.
Oh wait! You can land the tricks on that game?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that on that game.
Look at this.
Oh,
listen, I haven't played SSX Tricky in like 6 years, and it was my second game. I'm like I said, my gameplay is going to be so impressive.
You don't have to explain yourself, man. It's okay.
I have to.
Xbot's got to show off right now.
Breakdancing over there on his damn skateboard.
Look at the slow mo. Look at that crazy tricks.
Fred killed an elephant, man. You ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
That
Fred
poor
killed a
elephant.
big ass mammal.
Unless he smokes the elephant, then that's not. I'm not impressed.
Kill it and cook it.
Yeah, I know, Biggie. Look at that. Biggie knows. Biggie say, damn, okay, man, I got a lot of hate for you today. It is, man. I was on Lucas stuff, and man, they started jumping on me for a second there, man.
Dude, I had you back there, man. Anyway, let's
we going left.
What do you think about the news, the content, the level progression, the skeleton forts, like all the stuff that
I'm
you're
glad that there's more to the game than, obviously than what we saw in the alpha. I think we only had like what, maybe 15-20% of the game in the alpha and beta. So yeah, I'm happy there's more in there. I still think it's missing something. I think more from what I played this weekend, like if I'm just sailing from island to island, grabbing chests, turning them in, getting gear, that just reminds me of just Destiny in a sense, and I hope it doesn't hit that plateau where, everybody does something in the game, gets what they want. And then kind of like Destiny, you're waiting just for the next content to drop so you can get back into the game. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's a highly streamable game. It's on Mixer, it's like #1 on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. But and I don't want it to fade off. So Microsoft, I think, needs to do a lot more to keep this game relevant. If they want to make it the way they're trying to do this game as a service thing, they have to continuously add content. I think they said like once every 2 months they're going to add stuff. Which if it holds true, I think that will suffice. But like the character customization, I would like to do that. I would like to be able to fight more enemies besides the skeletons and sharks, and a kraken. Yeah, like I need a little bit more in the game than just that. That's the only thing I can take away from it. I mean, it's fun, when you're playing with a bunch of friends that I really wish there was like I almost don't want to say this, like a PUBG mode, but maybe like
yes, PUBG,
maybe like a maybe 12-man ship, in a smaller map where you can go against other people. You can all crew up on a bigger boat instead of just like 4 people. Just
apparently there's a 6-man ship possibly coming down the road. They've already talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and I was bringing up the same point, and what I hope is that the more that you play the game, the more that they were talking about the customization of the boats, and I'm like, the more that you should play the game, the more you should be able to get more freebies, like basically jump in and have up to maybe 8 to 10. Have an armada, that's what I was like talking about last time. Like you could have a boat to where you have up to eight people, and then like have an armada and stuff like that. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think when you become legendary captain, I'm hearing kind of like whispers, behind closed doors and stuff like that, of possibly being able to hook up, a couple ships and stuff like that, because the missions will get so big that you might have to like hook up with other pirates and kind of like share the loot and stuff like that, which that would be really cool. I mean, it's something that pirates have done in the past, but I do have to say, K Mega, I pulled my wild card with this gameplay right now. You see,
I see it. I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you, but this is the real God of War. This is the real God of War. This is the God of War that I will always want and love and miss. My third favorite franchise of all time. Not this other shit. I know, and
Grandpa Babysitter mode.
Wait, does it have a jump button?
Yeah, this one does. That's what I'm saying. Yo, huge shout out to Z Black Rider. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting the show, man. Yo,
fantastic.
Dude, you are. I swear, I see you on every single show, man. You are a great supporter of the YouTube gaming community. Us, kind of like pro Xbox YouTubers. Thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. But with that being said, let's go over to let's talk to the Don about this content. Don, what do you think about the level progression, kind of like the living world aspect to Sea of Thieves? Is this the game, from what you're hearing now, is this the game does this sound like a rare game? Does this sound like finally a complete game, a $60 title from what they're saying the content is?
I'm going to say this. In Craig Duncan, I trust, man. When he first showed Sea of Thieves, like on the E3 stage, right? I'm like, oh, I'm excited because you get to play with friends and stuff like that. And then I quickly kind of weaned off my excitement and more they showed of it. I'm like, man, this is not translating for me. I'm not excited for this game. I'm like, what the, I had questions and that sort of thing. And then when I start actually playing the game and playing with friends, it all clicked and all made sense. So, they totally got me on board with the last beta. I was full on board. I'm ready to go. I knew it wasn't all the content. I knew there was more content coming, but I like the foundation of what they had there, and I knew that they were just going to. We only had like 20%. They said roughly of what the actual game makeup is, and so I was excited. And the problem is though with Sea of Thieves, Xbox keeps explaining it to. I'm sure to everyone's listening. Trying to explain a Sea of Thieves is like trying to explain any other like MMO or RPG. You do kind of lose your audience unless they played the game.
I can kind of see that, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I played the game and enjoyed it, and like Xbox is trying to describe what's going on, and I can't follow along, but I do know from my experience with Sea of Thieves, I trust that team and what they've come up with. I feel like Rare is back. It's a type of game like. I don't even. To me, it's kind of a mystery how they even got the green light to make the game.
It's
because
such a different game, man. It's so
exactly.
Fresh, yeah.
It's a different experience. It's not an experience for everybody. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. I really think that's the way with a lot of Microsoft's lineup this year. It's a very diverse lineup, and in doing that, you're not getting this. You're not getting this like. The Uber fan base rallying behind like one or two things. They're kind of split in a little bit divided on what they like. But no, I'm excited about the game. It's something fresh. It's something unique. It's and it's about the adventurer who you play with. It's a totally situational game, right? Mm-hmm. I was playing with, K-Man calls it the hood party. But I was playing with that crew, and it was Livewire, I think. I forgot who else was with us.
Flip Money.
Flip's awesome. Flip is all about that game. He's all in. I was playing with Flip, Livewire. I forget who else was in there, but it's from that crew.
Damn, I haven't played a game with Flip in like forever, yo.
Yeah, and it's that is such a different experience with those two. Like you actually see Livewire take things seriously for a change. Like you're like, what the hell's going on with this game? Because it pulls that out of them. And then you have when I played with Snaps and UXBot and I think we had Blades, and like it was going in one direction, and then somehow me and Blades it started going south. We just started attacking random things, and it just like the adventure is going to be different. You never know how those adventures are going to turn out because it's that social experiment of how people are going to interact. So once you throw in all the other elements. Mm-hmm. And the randomness of basically whatever the community that you're playing with is going to decide. Mm-hmm. It has so much variety. So I'm excited about Sea of Thieves. I think people should try it out, especially if you have Game Pass. And I'm all about people just trying out games and deciding if they like them by actually playing them instead of just watching a bunch of YouTube videos. I don't think that's a very fair representation of stuff sometimes.
I am excited for the game. I still have one concern, and I think it's the same concern that Snaps talked about briefly and Predator talked about, and that is kind of like the enemy lineup. Skeletons are cool and everything like that, and if you have the majority of enemies on the island that are on the islands that are skeletons, I don't really have a problem with that. But I do want to see a variety. I want to see more things. I want to see sirens on like the sharp rocks in the middle of the ocean. You got
there's also fishing. Like I saw like the list.
Oh, I want fishing so bad.
The guy from Windows Central, Jez. Yeah, Jez had a huge list. If you guys want to see like the full details of it, everything, he got invited over to Rare to go check everything out. He puts together good articles, and to be honest with you, there's a lot, and I don't even think they showed him everything. To be honest, to be frank with you, so there's a lot to the game. I think the variety, every adventure is just going to be random and different, and I think once you add the element where you're going to be possibly running into other ships more, that's just going to add kind of endless like kind of game loop where it's just going to be different every time, and it's kind of like a fishing story. You always tell the tale of that one that got away or what happened. So it's pretty cool.
Don, One of the things that you said as we're talking about this was kind of like the diversity, the freshness when it comes to Sea of Thieves, but the diversity of basically the 2018 game lineup when it comes to Xbox. And I think that was one of the things I was so excited in 2017 with seeing at E3 because people were griping this and that or whatever. They're like, well, where's the AAA? Where's the next Fable and stuff like that? And I'm looking at the 42 games that they showed at last year's E3, and I was like, well, that's different from that one. That one's different from that one. That one's different from that one. You see what I'm saying, man?
But remember we had that, I think when we had the reaction when Crackdown was pushed back, and I think I hopped on the podcast. I think you were kind of down at the time. And
I was
didn't
pissed,
like
man. I wasn't even down.
I didn't like the fact that Crackdown was pushed back either, right? But once you take the step back, right, you're seeing what I've said back then was, hey, they have games. They have plenty of games. Am I bummed that something has got pushed back? Do I want that? I would say that community banger where you everybody rallies behind.
Yeah, hold on. Country Gentleman wants to put a fish hook in one of his fellow pirates, so he wants to be able to go fishing and accidentally and snag somebody on the ship. Man, I don't know.
I heard you can actually take a fish and slap somebody in the face with it.
Dude, so Aaron Greenberg said he was doing that in the beginning. I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's how you challenge people to duels, right? That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The diversity of the lineup is definitely there, and it's not for everyone. Like, I'm not excited for State of Decay. I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I think there's a lot of people that are excited about the first one.
There's a lot of potential to that game, man.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm 100% not excited.
Maybe we'll see it one day.
Buy it. So I mean, but Crackdown, I'm totally excited about it. And that's what, like, some people are just like, oh, forget Crackdown. They want State of Decay. So I think that's kind of where the lineup is. It's not this universal, like the mega fan base all rallies behind one thing. It's just kind of not what Xbox got this year.
Yo, shout out to Dirty J in the chat. He was talking about my gameplay, talking about how it is gold, guys. So, remember the poll is going to go on Twitter. It's going to be on @Xbot448 on my Twitter page. And it's going to be between Predator, the Don, and me. So, Pred, I know your gameplay is going to come back around. So they got to check that out again as well, man. Guys, I did hear a rumor, all right, when it comes to Sea of Thieves, that they only have projected in terms of supporting adding content to Sea of Thieves 1 year. So Don said every 2 months, so that's basically 6 updates to come down the pipeline. Do you guys, first of all, I just want to say this is just a rumor. It's something I've been hearing, being kind of like in the YouTube community, the YouTube gamer community and stuff like that. Let me start with Predator. Predator, if that's true, do you think that's enough time, or they're gonna have to support this for a while, man?
I think that's just planned right now to see how the game does. Once people start getting immersed in it and wanting more out of it, I think they'll probably support it for about 2 years.
So, like, I'm guessing they have loose sketched on what if it's popular even past then. They kind of know where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, I think they probably have some ideals. I mean, this is a game as a service game. I mean, like, don't make it just for, like, look at The Division. Mm-hmm. People, they're still adding content to that, and that came out in 2015 ish, I think, and they're still adding content, so it's possible. But, like, and I've said this in the past on this show, like, when you have games like that, like The Division, like Destiny, you have to have a plan for content that's gonna last more than just a few months. You got to have a long-term plan for the game and continuously add to it. So right now, yeah, they probably have things out a year out. That's what they planned for. But as the game gets released and people will start playing it more, and they realize how much profit they're going to get off of it, why not continue to create for it? There's not going to be a Sea of Thieves 2 anytime soon. Like, just keep adding to this game. It's a simple, obviously simple, but like the graphics are very simple. It's not like a Witcher type,
it's not except for the water. It's not realistic. It's got a cartoony.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, like, there's no sense in creating a Sea of Thieves 2 if you can continuously keep. That's why we haven't had a Minecraft 2. like you can constantly keep this updated.
We are getting that graphics update though. I can't wait for that for Minecraft. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, eventually, but and yeah, that's gonna look hot. I guess we'll talk about that in another podcast. But as far as Sea of Thieves goes, like I can see them having a 1-year plan, with the caveat of adding more to it later as it as it grows. It's one of those growing games. So that's 1 year is really short for this type of game.
Yeah,
I would say that. Of course, you're gonna have delays and stuff too. So, like, I mean, they say 1 year, and it'll probably be 1.5 because they'll delay an update or a patch or some DLC or something like that. So, I won't hold hard to that every 2 months thing. I think it'll probably be like every 2 months, and then people in the insider program or something to get access to it in the second month, and then it'll probably get released in the third month. So, I would probably push that out to 1.5 years right now.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, K Mega, I want to hear your response to this. Rumors that they have like 1 year in terms of supporting. Excuse me. Don said every 2 months, so that would be about like 6 updates going through. Do you think that's enough, or do you believe kind of like what Predator's saying that they have that planned for now, but they kind of have a loose sketching and they're gonna continue like the support afterwards? They just want to see kind of like the popularity of the title.
Yeah, I agree with both. I think that oh, and by the way, to my boy Biggie 2316, cough, K Mega for the win without even, you know what I'm saying? Look, y'all's gameplay is cool.
Did you turn your head and cough?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, y'all's gameplay is cool, but it's not real. Anyway, so
brother,
this is
man, I did a backflip on a motorcycle in PUBG. Oh, come on, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm impressed. I mean, you guys really finally came with it. But the fact was,
finally.
I got sabotaged. Xbot made rules without even know about it until the start.
Yo, can somebody make an icon for K Mega as a cactus? Because he's real thorny right now, man.
I'm not thorny about nothing. Anyway, so they're just checking with the projections pretty much about just have a 1 year schedule, seeing how many people were going to continue to play the game. Because normally we all know that games usually die down with their user base around after 4 months, because when you get down towards the end of the year, you're going to have Red Dead, you're going to have Battlefield, you're going to have Call of Duty, you're going to have all the big hitters come out at the end of the year. So there will be people that'll drop off. So it's good to just have that barometer for a year. And then after that, I still think that they're going to have a big, huge patch for the game later on. It's just that I think it's real smart to have it in the 2 months range to keep the game fresh. And it's just like with Halo 5. You might step away for a while, but once you always go back and you see the new way that all the things that they've done that's new, all of that, it feels fresh. And you're like, damn, why did I stop playing Halo? It's just and so I think Sea of Thieves is going to do the same thing. And I'm going to go back to something that was said earlier, and I think that was a spot on, is that with these games that's coming out for the Xbox, they are different. They are catering to different groups. You'll have some people that say, I'm not interested. Yeah, I'm not interested in the Sea of Thieves, but man, that State of Decay 2, man, I can't wait to jump on that. Well, I'm not interested in those 2 games, but Crackdown's got me intrigued. It's really smart because it's going after a different demographic than just the same old, to where where everybody is assured that they're going to like this type of game. I think that's where I think PlayStation is going in the wrong direction by trying to have every game kind of have that same type of feel to it.
Yeah, that same kind of like third person over the shoulder. Yeah, and that's something like I know. Oh man. When you start talking about this, people get all touchy and stuff like that. Because I mean, PlayStation, they do have the Personas, they have the Neos, they have they do have a bunch of other games. It's just that when it comes to their big hitters, their real big kind of like first party hitters, it seems like they're all kind of like they're almost doing a rinse and repeat, but with the storyline from that world. So it's The Last of Us. It's you know what I'm saying?
It's the negative part of them being like a we always talk about how they come from like more of a movie studio type background. Mm-hmm. That happens in that part of the entertainment industry quite a bit, right? Like what happens when reality shows get really big? Everyone has their own take on that same sort of formula, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so PlayStation has seen success with like the tag along character over the shoulder, a certain cinematic, a certain look, a certain like hyper realism, not like necessarily realistic, but not necessarily not realistic. You kind of know what I mean? They hit that spot, and all the games kind of have that same checkbox, and so that to me, like, it gets old quick, right? Just like if every game that Xbox
this
did
is
was
Don choosing his words right now.
Well,
Yeah,
to me, it's playing
you
it
have to be
safe.
careful because, like, I don't think they're bad games or anything like that. And I think that's what a lot of people, like, when you criticize a PlayStation game, they think you think it's a bad game. No, it's not. I'm not coming from that perspective. But if one of those mechanics or one of those things just doesn't appeal to you, or it doesn't resonate with you, then they don't offer a whole lot to you. So they have a lot of bangers coming out this year, but like for me, I don't really enjoy the whole tag along character, and for me, that's what's kind of doesn't got me sold on God of War yet. Like, I'm gonna try it, but I'm just not sold on that game.
And that's
God of War to me is a double-edged sword right now, because like I said, I said this earlier on Luca's show. Like, I just got into God of War. I didn't play 1 or 2.
blasphemy.
I picked up 3 remastered. Man, I don't live by your rules, K-Meg. I'm just saying. But I picked up 3 remastered, right, on the PS4. It was like $3 or something like that. There was a sale, right? And I love the game. It's a lot of fun. I didn't have to play the first 2 really to understand what was going on. They did a really good job of kind of like setting it up at the beginning of the game. I would actually like for them to do maybe a God of War collection or something like that. So this way, kind of bump up the graphics, bring it up to today's standards and stuff like that. And then I would play like all 3. But it to me, it's a double-edged sword, because I just got into the gameplay from kind of like the classic God of War. So I like that. I like jumping into crowds and start swinging my weapons and having everything go crazy. And I'm not going to be able to do that really in this next God of War, because there's no jumping. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I talk about the no jumping aspect. As far as like Kratos as a character, I see what people are saying about him being such a badass and kind of like, yeah, I don't care what you're saying right now. I'm just gonna kill you anyway, and then just doing the deed. And now he's more of a father figure. That doesn't really adhere to me too much, because I didn't spend a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of like foundation on the old Kratos. So it's a double-edged sword for me. But what were you gonna say, K Mega?
Well, nothing. I was just going into a point of just saying, look, it's not trying to bash PlayStation whatsoever. I mean, they're the most successful console this generation. It's just the fact that, when people talk so bad about the Xbox lineup, I just find it to be ridiculous, because they give so much more variety. And there's different games that's out there that PlayStation has variety, but we're talking about just the first party. And that was another thing there was something that we talked about on GRG too. I just, I don't really care about having a response about it, but it was just something that we talked about. Like, look, I mean, they have all these, they don't really have a deep lineup of protagonists too much. I mean, we were talking about Black Panther, and we were saying, you know what, we have never seen, as long as PlayStation's been out, there's never had a starring black character or a starring Indian character, or, it was really odd to me. So I just, look, man, I understand people like what they like, but for what Xbox is bringing is a lot of diversity. Yeah. And that's something that I think that Xbox should be commended for, not only for the fact that they're bringing people like Locke, even though there might be people that can't stand him, or Cole, or just, I'm saying, for the guy from Crackdown 3, it's just part of all of the diversity on top of, every game feels different, and I love it.
But they do diversity right. Like, some people treat diversity as a checkbox, and I think that's selling it short. I think people from all different backgrounds offer something different, and so if you come from the perspective, hey, I want to make this character because it offers something different, less of the same old, right? Then that's what it has. So if you look at, like, obviously same heritage, you look at Cole, you could look at Locke. I think they play the roles really well on those characters, and they offer a variety to those franchises. They're valuable, and they're not just a checkbox. And I think that's where, on the whole diversity thing, I think Xbox does really well on that particular aspect,
Definitely,
just as far as their studios go.
especially this year, man. This is one thing, and this is something that throughout all the fanboyness, the console war bullshit, and all that good stuff, I keep trying to bring especially Xbox gamers back to the point that 2018 is a huge year, and we're getting a variety of games and games like we haven't really seen before with games like Sea of Thieves. When it comes to State of Decay 2, one of the things that people talked about, State of Decay was hugely popular. And one of the things is like, people were like, I wish I could play this multiplayer. I wish I could play this co-op with my friends and stuff like that. So not only are you getting the core State of Decay, but you're getting the multiplayer that, for people who like the game, this is what they really wanted. So there's a lot. I can't wait for Crackdown, man. I can't wait to destroy my people.
Well, and just in the diversity from a game perspective, what I don't get, and this is kind of me maybe from a little too much from the outside, and I just can't relate, is just because you don't like a game or it doesn't excite you, why do we go to a 0 to 100 and all of a sudden people use the terms it's trash?
Mm-hmm.
Like come on, like you can do better than that. Like,
shout out to All Day.
but that stuff's not helpful. Like, it's not helpful at all, right? It's you're trying to say something as a fact, but it's an opinion, but you word it as a fact. Like, it's just, in a lot of ways, it's just bad grammar, and I excel at bad grammar.
Well, I like what Abacab said in the chat. He's like, Xbox is doing better with diverse games. He's like, but they could still do more. And I think
absolutely,
I think the bar needs to be raised. When you're looking at an industry that is more profitable than movies and such, that the diversity, there needs to be a wide range of entertainment at that point in time. And I don't think you settle on a set like, okay, this is as diverse as we're going. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but if you look at both the major platforms, the Microsoft and the Sony, the big players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's kind of just doing their own thing, so they almost kind of don't compare. But there's things that Microsoft can obviously borrow from what Sony's doing with some of their games, and I can say the same thing with Sony. In regards to that, if you just like games in general and you're just genuinely honest, there are things that both are offering that are different from one another that you would like to see implemented on that platform in some form or fashion, and vice versa. And that's just being genuine, just being honest, and you're still going to gravitate towards the platform you prefer. But let's just let's give credit where credit's due. And if it's not your game, like, have a little bit of maturity to say, you know what, that's not my game, but I see why other people are going to be into it, and let's use constructive criticism in a sense that, like, okay, you don't like the game, why don't you like the game? Okay, then you've labeled a couple facts, let's call that a valid opinion, versus just spitting out opinion and yelling that opinion louder. And
I yell it louder than you, so I'm right, is what's going on.
Exactly, and that's not productive. And like, and I don't really get that. Like, I honestly look at Microsoft's lineup is the diehard Microsoft guys. I can't honestly look at Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Crackdown and say most people are going to love all three of those. Most likely they're going to like two of those.
But they're going to be groups that like each one as well.
Yeah, it's going to be split, and that's fine. Like, I try RPGs all the time. I always try to give them a second chance every single time. Man, turn-based RPGs, like, I fall asleep. I literally fall asleep playing them, and I just can't do it.
You know what I fall asleep at? Seeing your same gameplay for the last year.
Oh, she's talking about the frog!
You know what? I remember the frog.
I was thinking the same thing.
Send that fade, kill the toad. Yeah,
what is this, Don? Where's your creativity?
Dirty J's already loving the frog. Hey, you guys love the frog. Just let it be known.
They used to love the frog.
I don't think anybody
had all of those votes
anymore.
back when we first started because of this. It's old. It's time to go. It's time to go anew. You're just wasting like 10 minutes of, 5 to 10 minutes of not showing us real true gameplay by showing them dancing.
Don, if you don't win, it's your own fault because you had the same gameplay.
Listen here. The majority of my gameplay was new, unlike K Megas this week. That's all I got to say.
Hey, Megas was very, very weak this week.
I mean,
it was by design, guys.
You guys are so mean.
You designed it.
You
You designed
recorded
it that
that
way.
back
You're
in
like,
the day.
Carter,
no.
the
It'd be good
Don,
in my head.
the
But
Don
he still
Nugget,
won last week, though.
yeah, and Xbot 448. You know what I'm saying?
What's going
Conspired
on,
to go against me because they know it. I want to bring the heat. I lifted y'all's spirits, and now I'm gonna
Mega. I
hell.
heard the nervousness in your voice when you saw my SSX gameplay. That's all I gotta say, man.
That's
I
true.
heard
That's
it.
true. You heard him. He's just like, well. I did.
it's like that, but a little bit more squeakiness.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I still ain't seen anything impressive as killing a big ass elephant, but that's okay.
Well, see, the thing is, the gameplay's not meant to impress you. It's meant to impress everybody out there.
Let's
in the
go,
chat,
K
man.
Mega's gameplay with the winner. The gold. Yes, the gold belongs.
You know
to
what? I'm gonna put your name in, K Mega. I'm gonna put your name in the poll, okay? No doubt. I'm gonna
No,
put it in there.
you said it wasn't.
I'm
You know
gonna
what
put it in there, man. Since you talking all that crap, like let's see
Look
if
Yeah,
it could
I ain't
go
played
2
this
weeks in
game
a
in
row.
like 6 years,
Let's
and
see,
I just
let's see if it could go
popped
2
it on,
weeks in
and
a
I just
row,
started
man.
playing.
Let's go. Let's see.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you're dissing me because I'm showing the old classics. Let's go.
All right.
You know what? It makes sense because if you look at the actual button prompts on below, it says B button and R button, and I don't think he knows which ones those are.
Well, the letter R is just an incomplete B anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, he keeps hitting A. I mean, that's very obvious.
Well, guys, let's move on to the next subject. I know O Snaps. Hopefully she's back because she said that her stomach hurt, so she stepped out real quick. But I know she wants to talk about floor space at E3 because everybody seems to want to talk about floor space at E3.
We talking about practice, man.
We talking about practice. Yo, shout out to the answer out
that
there.
sound like that? We talking about floor space, man. Not the games.
But there's people going out there because there was a supposed leak about floor plans for E3, and they showed supposedly, again, quote unquote, supposedly, that Xbox's floor is even smaller than it was last year. And I gotta say, me personally, if it's smaller, that's great for me because last year they showed 42 games. And they had a smaller floor space. So, with that being said, if it's even smaller, are they going to show even more games? But, people are saying that Xbox isn't going to have as much. I know. We'll start with Dark because Dark posted an article as well. A certain person from Xbox came out and said, "This is bullshit." So, Dark, what do you think about what people are saying about Xbox having quote unquote smaller floor space? Does it even matter? And do you even think it's true? Let us know, man.
It's complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Just because Aaron Greenberg came out and said on Twitter that, that's not entirely true, that we're not going to have completely,
He said it's not accurate, but
really
he said
small.
we're going to be there in a big way and beyond, though.
Yeah.
So
the floor space doesn't matter.
What
Size doesn't matter. That's what he
the floor space doesn't matter. Like, what matters is the games that they're going to show off. Like, why do we even care about the damn floor space? Like, who even gives a shit?
Most of us ain't going.
Half of these people aren't even gonna go. There's people on Twitter that are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe the sports place." It's like, oh my god, dude, you're not even gonna go to the freaking show. You don't even live in LA. You don't even live in California. So how are you gonna even afford to get to the damn show anyways? So what does it matter? It just let them show what they have at the show, and that's it. They don't really need to show the games and stuff off. They just need to show it at the show on the stream, and that's it. They don't need people giving them shit about the floor space.
Dark. I read into this in the beginning when this first started coming out, and I looked at what Xbox has done, this previous year at E3, what they've been talking about on social media and stuff like that. And to me, I don't think E3 this year is going to be about this year. I know Phil has talked about he doesn't want to show games too early in development and stuff like that. But I really feel that they are going to come out with kind of that Fable reboot possibly the perfect dark, like stuff down the line that they are really committed to making, which could be a year and a half, 2 years down the line. I think they're widening their margin for time for this year's E3 in terms of what games they're going to show. And if that's the case, they already showed a really good lineup for this year. So they might not have that much to play there because they're talking more of, kind of like the future of Xbox. That was what I was thinking when all this stuff first dropped. Do you think that might be the case as well, man?
Well, I think they just don't want to show
the same thing
these,
for 5 years.
Yeah, they just don't want to show these games that are going to come out like 3 or 4 years from now. They want to show stuff that's going to come out within the year or a little bit later than that, and that's that's what they want to show. And if it's a shorter show or if it's a longer show, who cares? As long as we know that we're still going to get the games that we want to play, and that's all matters. Oh, there it goes.
Ever since we started.
He needed to get something out just because I've been bragging on him all.
Now he's gonna win gameplay because of that.
Oh,
yeah, right. Exactly. He's gonna win.
Guys, please! I'm not eligible for gameplay. Bot made the rules, and that's fine. Do not vote for K Mega. Vote for the 3 contestants, as Bot has advised everybody at the beginning of the show. And let's move on.
Any man that believes that Locke is going to come back, it doesn't need to win gameplay.
Hey, Predator said it's a trap.
Like that fish guy? The Star Wars?
Stop it.
Oh goodness! I will say, Mega. Ever since seeing this gameplay last week, this game, I know it's in the Ninja Gaiden family, right?
Yeah, Zyba. Yeah.
I heard bad stuff about this game when it first came out, but watching your gameplay, I want this game now, man.
The game is dope, man. I wish it comes back was compatible. Yeah, it's the camera angle can get sucky, but the game itself is it's that crazy mindless fun just to kick ass. It's fun. It's dope.
Nice. And now that you're completely off the rails again. Hold on.
Oh, I have a question about this floor space. All right.
Okay.
So I'm looking at 2 different schematics here, and
did you measure them?
You know what? I didn't.
Scale.
But I don't see what the big deal is. There's nothing, like, one of them doesn't even show Microsoft on it. The other one does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that these are set in stone. It says preliminary, possibility of where these things are going to be. It doesn't mean it's absolutely set in stone, and I don't understand why everybody's flipping out about it. Like you were saying before, does the size matter? No, it does not matter. Like I feel like people just reach for every little thing that they can possibly get their hands on just to start a war. It's like, let it go. Why can't we just enjoy anything anymore?
Oh, snaps. You brought up a great point, and it was actually kind of like the second part of this topic as well. I said this on Luca's show earlier today as well. I feel like we as kind of like the hardcore gamers, I don't know, speaking for you, Oh Snaps, because you are also known as Queen Casual as well, but hardcore gamers, gamers within the YouTube community, active gamers on social media and stuff, like I feel like we're partly responsible as well when it comes to this stuff, because we do feed into it. We do kind of we talk about it as well. We're doing it on this show right now, even though at the end of the day it really doesn't mean shit. Alan Walsh on Crossfire, he's been to E3. He even said that, Sony has a huge floor space. A lot of it is just for the media. It's just to cater to the media that goes there and stuff like that. So it doesn't really mean anything in terms of games, but we talk about it. So do you feel like we're actually partly responsible for I don't know, maybe fueling this stuff even more than it should be?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we look at something and we pick it apart, yeah, we're partially responsible, but at the same time, I guess in a sense we feel like we have to defend what we enjoy too, because people make such a big deal out of it. Mm-hmm. So you have to, on one hand, it's like you have to say, well, why is it such a big deal? But we're also kind of feeding into their bullshit. But, you know, when I heard about this, I was, you know, I rolled my eyes and I'm just like, it's whatever. But here I am on next podcast and I'm talking about it because it is a topic. And, you know, on one hand, it is absolutely stupid. On the other hand, it does raise questions. So, I mean, I think the best thing to do is kind of kick back and wait and see and enjoy the show because we're going to enjoy it regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft is going to be there. They're going to bring the fire. They always do. So why not just wait and stop getting all panicky about it? And it's kind of like, if you look at it, it's a clickbait title. It's a clickbait. It's going to draw attention. It's going to make people like, oh my gosh, you know, and that's the reality of it. It's just for attention. And, you know, it's going to blow up into something, you know, incredibly spectacular, which it has already because people are talking about it.
I gotta say, I mean, the proof is out there. The actual facts are out there. You look at, you know, E3 last year. They had a smaller scope in terms of floor space last year, but they came out with the most games out of any of the you know, the big hitters, and it came out with 42 games. I thought it was an amazing show. So that right there, that's the proof in the pudding that the floor size doesn't mean anything. But let's hit Predator. Yo, Predator, what do you think about this? Are people making mountains out of molehills when it comes to floor space here at E3?
One of the stupidest arguments ever. Like we were saying earlier, like half of us, more than half of us, aren't even going to E3. We're gonna sit here and stream it on whatever device we feel like streaming it on. So, like,
catch it live right here on
yeah,
this
we're
channel.
gonna catch it on Mixer or, you know, YouTube or something like that, or Twitch or something. We're not going. So what does it matter?
I'm going.
Okay, well, Mel's going.
You're going this year?
You didn't know?
Oh, that was a secret, but that's out the bag. I'll fly.
I will piggyback on her and call myself Eastpak. Say I'm a backpack.
Right. I'm planning on going this year, so you know.
No, I'm not going. But continue, Fred. Sorry.
That's all right. But like, who cares? It's floor space. Like, there's not. From my understanding, E3 is more for the media anyway. Right? If anyone who's been there before, please tell me if I'm wrong.
Media and vendors. That's what it's really designed for. So if you're like GameStop or if you're like Walmart that makes those decisions if they're going to bring certain products in, or some online company, it's really for that and media.
Well, they open up the floor to the public. They sell a certain amount of tickets now. They do.
That's completely secondary. It's still like that's just subsidizing the cost of putting on the big show.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, and for the most part, those people aren't even going to get a chance to get into the booth to play most of the games anyway, because, you know, the press has first, you know, preference anyway. So, I personally would probably never go to E3 unless I get a press pass, which will never happen because I'm not pressed. I want to get in there. I want to get my hands on some of the games.
Just hang with us. We'll try, man. All right.
But like, yeah, right. But like, is Microsoft not doing an event again this year?
Yeah, they're doing another event. Yeah.
So they don't need a big floor presence there. If you want to see their games, go to the event the night before. You know, we're gonna watch it on TV, and if you're there in Los Angeles, and if you can't get in there and play the games at E3, you can go to the night before the session they're having, the game. I forgot what the name of it is. Go to that. Have fun at that. Play your Xbox games there. They don't need that stage and then another huge stage at E3 because they're doing the same thing twice.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. When it comes to the conference itself, I hope they still do what they did last year. I hope they come a day early. I hope they do it like that Sunday like they did last year. Now I know last year, you know, they were showing the X and all that good stuff, but still, I feel that that's a great spot for them. They seem so
they get the whole day to themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they seem so confident about their hardware and then the future when it comes to their games and stuff like that. I feel like they can go Sunday, and like you said, there's a whole day for media, gamers, everybody to kind of like really soak in exactly what they showed. I mean, at the end of the day, last year people said that Sony quote unquote won, or no, they actually said Nintendo Nintendo came out on top last year.
It didn't even show up.
But yeah,
yeah. So it doesn't matter. Like everyone's not going to base who won E3 off of the floor size. They're going to base it off of the presentation anyway. So what's being shown on the floor, the size of the surface area, the space of the whatever, doesn't matter. We're all going to be watching half of us, fucking 90% of us are going to be watching this shit on TV. So it doesn't matter.
And again, shameless plug. Join us live for a live reaction E3 2018 right here on this channel. But yo, K Mega, did you chime in on this, or I'm getting absent-minded right now? It's the
you didn't.
All right, it's the old age in me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about all this? I think we talked about this a little bit earlier today, but why don't you let our supporters out there know how you feel about this supposed small floor space for E3 at Xbox?
I find it foolish.
It's
for anybody.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. I mean, yeah, I said that as well. It's dumb. I think. I mean, as Snap said earlier, I think it was you or Snaps that was saying that look, that Sony had bigger floors and still showed the less. And a matter of fact, the last couple of E3s has been very mediocre. I mean, the one they got choked up with the band and or the orchestra, and then when they seen the X pop out, they're like, cut.
Yeah, their show was like an hour, was it not?
That was the year before last when they did the cut. They just cut the show abruptly. But last year it was just it was like what, an hour? That was less than an hour. So. Yeah. And they were showing it at a movie theater. So I mean, like that really doesn't matter. It's like Xbox has been had the better E3s for the last 3 years, in my opinion. PlayStation had a really strong PSX, not this past year, but the year before it was really good. So the thing of it is it's the size of a booth doesn't matter because, like I said, these people ain't going to get there. I'm gonna try to get there. I'm doing every angle that I can. You know what I'm saying? If I got to pay the big bucks to try to get there, and so I can get on the floor, I will do that. But because I really want to go,
I think me and the family, me and O Snaps and the family, we got to move to Utah before we consider going to E3. Yeah.
Oh, well,
just because it's closer.
That would make it easy. That's like
that would make it a lot easier. Yeah, it's not that far. but also, you know what I'm saying. But you can always move to Oklahoma too. The cost of living is really good, sweet. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Kids got a place to run, land, and of course on top of that, you have K Mega.
Kids got a place to run and keep running. And keep running.
Hey man, look, a piece of land is important. You know what I'm saying. You people on the East and West Coast, y'all don't understand that, man. When you got acres of land that you can do whatever you want to on it, man, that's valuable. But anyway, it's to me, it's one of those things where you just have to you got to get past the rhetoric and just move on and just keep it about gaming, because this right here was unnecessary. The people that brought it up was absolutely, they're doing it for clickbait or they're doing it to be trolls. It has no meaning in gaming, and it doesn't matter if it was Sony that would have a small floor or Nintendo or PC or whoever. It doesn't really matter. It's about what games they're going to present to the gaming public.
Well, I definitely agree with O Snaps on the fact that, you know, people are kind of doing this for attention. There's a little bit of a lull here. You know, Sea of Thieves, they have kind of like cemented themselves as they are going to be it's going to be a quality game that a lot of people are looking forward to. You know, when it drops.
Real quick, I have to interrupt you. They added communication, so like you can talk to the barmaid and Tony the Trader and whatnot, which is really cool. Yeah, but there is no voice acting, and you know, Blades brought that up in the chat because I did mention
Mr. Positivity.
Yeah. So I think they definitely need to do that. Ask Craig Duncan if they have any plans to add voice acting, and I volunteer to be a pirate. That would be so awesome. But I think that is really
give us your best R in pirate.
R. That's not my best. Okay, I need practice.
Not bad.
I think you're hired. You can do it.
Yeah, you got to strain. You sound like you're gonna fart. You better calm down.
Let me have some rum and I'll really good.
Yeah. So no, but it is really ridiculous. I think that I know Xbox is gonna bring it. I know that they've listened to all these people that has been touting that Xbox has no games, that Xbox they're not taking this seriously. They're soft. You know, Phil Spencer said himself in an article, is like, we hear you. And if people and if anybody that has the notion to think that Xbox that the people at Xbox aren't serious about this, then we wouldn't have got the Xbox One X. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
and they wouldn't have made the moves to try to bring PUBG to even they could have keep delaying Crackdown if that's the case. I mean, they're serious about what's going on. It's just that I think a lot of us is we're so impatient and we want to hear it now, but they don't want to have another scale-bound situation. But I think that they have to find a happy medium, because we do want to know what's coming, even if it's a couple of years away. So just for that case, because we know that that it is going to come, and that we'll be satisfied with it. But it's the big games are coming, and I can't wait, because big games take time to make, and if we want good quality games, it's not going to happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to take time. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for these.
Oh hell yeah! I feel like when it comes to Xbox, and when Phil Spencer came over, he set like certain priorities, because he wanted to deal with kind of like the backlash that started this generation, and he wanted. Kind of like to smooth the road for the future, so he had to do certain things. That's when the X, in terms of the shareholders with Microsoft getting Xbox, like the Xbox app on multiple platforms and stuff like that. There's certain things he had to do, and I feel like they've done that, and now it's the push forward. You know what I'm saying? And now it's all in on everything that gamers want to hear. Gamers want to see from the platform, and I'm excited. I feel like 2018 is a big year, and just moving into the future, I think it looks good for Xbox. Does anybody else have anything to say about E3 floor size business? Because if not, we got a good transition going here.
Have you guys seen the DM that I sent you guys?
No, I don't look at DMs. I'm trying to focus on the chat and what the hell my panel is saying about these topics, man.
But this is related to the topic.
Oh, no.
This is a 1999 floor plan of E3.
Oh.
And if you want to draw the same parallels, back then, Sega and Sony had the same size booth.
Okay.
The Dreamcast was going to come out that year. Sony was showing off early versions of the PlayStation 2. And Nintendo had the biggest booth out of all of them. I was there at that show. Sega had the most playable stations at E3, and it had the smallest floor space of those three.
Okay. That makes sense.
Sony had this huge weird pyramid thing in the middle of their booth that took up, it was bigger than half my condo, and it just to display 4 screens of a tech demo of the PlayStation 2. Nintendo, the majority of their booth was completely cut off to meetings, and there was I would say 1/3 of that booth area was for games. So when you're looking at these floor plans, that's a space the company has purchased, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't necessarily represent how the floor plan is going to be laid out. What's on the floor plan? You look at history, and you look at now. The person that had the smallest booth had the most playable games. The person that the second biggest booth had I would say the next level playable games, which was Sony. And the person that had the biggest booth had the least playable games, which was Nintendo. So history has been like this with E3 over and over and over again. And the reason why I use extremes like 1999 is because some of these companies have already gone. They come back. It represents a lot of what's really, really going on in the grand scheme of things, and people are just talking out of nowhere. They don't really have any understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I took a look at those pictures, man. That is very interesting, and it to me it just shows exactly what we've been saying. When it comes down to it, how much floor space you have at E3 doesn't really mean anything. I'm leaning towards what OSnap said. People are just doing this for attention. If the gaming media starts talking about it, they're doing it for clicks. And it just might be that there's a lull here, and they have.
It's also kind of weird floor plan. If you look at it, it looks like because Microsoft's just done in one square the way they look at the floor plan, and they don't have any additional information there, so they're not really telling you is the floor plan just that little yellow square, because that's what it makes it look like. They have a tiny little booth, right? Or is it all the neighboring yellow booths right next to it, or is it just the three? No one really knows, and they could be doing a very much a modular design where they have a play area, they have a meeting area. They can be doing it so differently than everybody else. So it's just, don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah.
Microsoft is in it to win it. I mean, you can look at it so many different ways. You can look at NVIDIA. They already have presence in both halls, because guess what software runs for NVIDIA graphic cards? Microsoft. PC is going to have a big presence in the same hall right next to Sony.
I got you.
So there's so many ways to look at it. I just feel like it's silly we even have to talk about it, but because we have to talk about it because.
Oh my God, there's fish in Sea of Thieves, you guys. I'm sorry.
They put fish. They put fish in the water.
They're freaking fish.
You know it's a closed beta, right? I'm not sure if you're supposed to talk about it, but
yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can. We can stream it too.
Oh, we can stream it too. Oh shoot! But guys, on that note, because we're talking about E3. E3 talks about the future of gaming. Let's talk about our good old friends at Digital Foundry, which have come out. My boy Dick over there came out and they seem to believe that the quote unquote next generation, when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox One, they are claiming 2019 pretty adamantly, man. I gotta say they're pretty adamant about this, and I wanna hear you guys. What are you laughing? Are you laughing at Digital Foundry, or are you laughing?
Yeah, well, like, what the hell are they doing?
2019, people. It's a lock. Digital Foundry said so. But well, Don, what do you think, man? I know you're a huge fan of our boy Dick over there and everybody else at Digital Foundry, and you think they are spot on and precise when it comes to their analysis and everything like that. What do you think about them claiming next generation 2019, man?
I think they're trying to will it into existence is what they're trying to do. Here's a harsh reality is you have to double everything what the X is doing right now to remotely move the needle in a way for consumers to really have a noticeable difference as far as that's concerned. That includes both Microsoft and Sony, and then that's every spec, CPU wise, GPU wise, and RAM. And I'm sorry, 2019 is too early to be able to pull that off. You can definitely do a machine with higher spec than the X in 2019. It also doesn't fall in line with the shrink of the chip size, which is usually the big thing that kind of allows for all this stuff to kind of happen. Allows us to do a smaller form factor, more power, less heat consumption, less power consumption. Mm-hmm. So everything's not lining up with their prediction. I guess is what I'm trying to say. The other thing is, and I've heard a lot of people say this, they think Sony's going to have one in 2019, and they may announce something on 2019. But my bets are not there because I know one of the lead programs, one of the most prominent game engines in the industry. We hang out on a regular basis, and usually if a platform provider is kind of fishing around if where they're at spec wise, you'll at least hear of it and just kind of they'll put the whisper in his ear. So like, what would you like to see? What matters most? What would you prioritize, or what would you want to see out of a platform? And because they're one of the biggest engine providers, and no one's come up to them about any console from any manufacturer. So if you're going to be doing that, you're going to be at least doing that now, or if not last year.
Yeah.
So, and he knew about the X. He's the one that showed me the PS4 Pro Dev Kit. So he's legit, and I don't see any evidence to back up their argument. It's not even a valid argument at this point. They're just grasping at straws.
I got you. I just want to say, because people in the chat, they were talking about my vape. I am vaping on I am vaping on something called chocolate milk. It is so freaking good. But Don, when it comes to this whole 2019 thing, now I've been saying 2020, and what I'm saying in terms of 2019 is when you're going to start to hear like the teasers and the rumblings that something's coming down the line for 2020. Now, with you and kind of like the people you know in your industry, the background of actually being in the industry and such, does that sound more plausible, or should we stretch it out even further than that?
Well, that's depends the strategy of the big players, right? Like, let's say the X gets a lot more traction than it is, and you're starting to see the PlayStation slow down. In regards to that, you're going to wonder if Sony is going to borrow from Microsoft's playbook and say, well, okay, we're maybe not out until 2020, but let's announce it right now, 2019. We're doing this, and be bold and get people excited about our next platform because, well, our platform's already slowed down to a crawl. If it's continued to sell well, that doesn't really dictate when they release the console. It's more when technology is ready will dictate when the console will release. Mm-hmm. So if it's quicker, like sales are doing really well, the system will still come out in the time frame they're planning on. But the difference is they'll talk about it much later and closer to the launch of the product. So that's kind of how I see all that going down. We all know the new systems are coming. We all know the new PlayStation is going to be more powerful than the X. It's got to be. It's going to be a year or 2 years afterwards, right? Mm. The question is it going to be enough power for people to see that difference, or is it going to be a little more of a soft difference?
See, when it comes to that power, this is something I've been saying, and I can't wait to get the rest of the panel in here as well. If you guys you hear something and you want to chime in on, don't be bashful, don't be shy. We're all family. But when it comes to power, I feel like Xbox is kind of like in the driver's seat, because when it comes down to what they did with the X and how how they set it up, basically all you would have to do is drop in a more powerful CPU, a more powerful GPU. Well, what they did with DirectX 12 and how they set up kind of like the architecture of the hardware, the guts of the X, all you have to do is upgrade those two parts and you're going to see performance go through the roof anyway. Because
it's going to be exponential. Well, I think the other thing too, and I've said this before, the person that wins next generation.
So hold on, Don. I just need confirmation. So you agree with me on that? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, right, cool. I mean, they're not going to throw away all that R&D. They're going to use it, and it's going to be exponential when you have more powerful hardware. In regards to that, so what's good for the goose is what's good for the gander, right? Unless there's some other technology that's better at the time, and then it gets overshadowed in that implication. But I think a lot of it has to do with the simple fact is Microsoft is already soft launched their next gen console. That's the X. And if they are going to continue with forwards and backwards compatibility, and if their competitor does not do the same on their platform, they've already won the generation. Because there's a certain amount. It's like, I get like 30,000. Whoever gets a 30,000 first gets the mind share of the public, and then they just kind of run with it. Well, if they already have 30,000 and everything's forwards and backwards compatible, then they've already won that generation before it starts. Same thing with Sony. If Microsoft doesn't do forwards and backwards compatibility, and Sony does, they win because their install base is so huge. And then if they both do it, then Sony's in the lead because, well, the harsh reality is they have more consoles on the market.
Nice.
So,
Don, well, finish it up real quick because I want K Mega to talk while the SSX gameplay is playing. Because I'm going to K Mega next.
I just saw my name be called up. Look at this, man. Y'all filthy tonight, man. Y'all are filthy, man.
But go ahead, and then we're going to go to K Mega, man.
Man, I just want to take K Mega snowboarding out here in Utah.
Man, my big ass is not doing no snowboarding, and you know what I'm saying. If it's just a straight downhill, I'm with it. You got rocks, trees involved. I've seen what you do on the bike. Pipe. It's not happening, Jack.
Put him in the half pipe.
You know what I'm saying? I play things safe.
Well,
look at this. I mean, I see it. It's cool. Like, why are you? You know what I'm saying? Look, I know that it chipped y'all's hide that I won last week. You know what though, K-Man,
you see so much hate, finally see you get some love. I think that's actually kind of
Yeah, you know,
that was
honestly,
really awesome.
Full real.
I've been happy all week because of the support from you guys for watching, for giving me.
Broke watches twice. Is right twice a day. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay, listen to
right.
that. Listen. Okay, you know what? Let me just bring up my point since you know.
Let's do this, Mega.
All right, let's do it. All right, basically, Don was going on a tangent. What was the question again? Because
Digital Foundry is basically loosely claiming that 2019 is the year of next gen PS5, next Xbox One. Are they full of shit? What's going on, man?
All right, hold on. Let me take a sip of this rock. All right, now I'm about to get real. They're idiots. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Look, it wouldn't make any sense for PlayStation to come out with their new console when they're selling so well right now. Why would they want to lose money by coming out with a new console without, you know what I'm saying, while they're doing so well and they haven't even hit the 80 million mark. Now they should hit it this year, but coming out in 2019 when they're having all this momentum, they got the game share. That means they're going to be starting over. They will not, if it comes out in 2019, that gives a strong indication that they will not have backwards compatibility. And like Don said, it will set them back because their users are going to stay on the PlayStation 4 just like the users stayed with the 360. Go ahead, Don.
Interesting. No, I think it's interesting. So you think they're going to do a hard reset? You don't think they're going to do forwards and backwards compatibility with Sony?
If the people from Digital Foundry are correct on this, then no, there's no way they're going to do backwards compatibility. They're hedging their bets.
Well, they're both x86
on remasters. They're hedging their bets on remasters.
Backwards compatibility, PS4 backwards compatibility, because 3 is, well, that's a shit show.
Right.
Like, it's called what it is. 2 is capable, 1's capable, obviously. But 3 is just like that. That's a dream.
See, this is the thing, though. Like, okay, yeah, you can do backwards compatibility. PlayStation, it would be smart for PlayStation to do backwards compatibility from 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the fact of it is that where they're going to live off of is what they're living off now, and that's the remasters. They already know how the plan is. When The Last of Us 2 comes out, it's going to come on the PlayStation 4, and then it's going to be a definitive edition or version come out for the PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? For whatever games is coming out at the end of that year that's exclusive to them, they're going to do the same thing like they did this year. It was smart for them because they were because they was bringing over new adopters. That's why The Last of Us was getting all this love, even though it was a PlayStation 3 game.
So you don't think they're going to evolve?
No, I think they're going to try to. No, they're going to evolve, but they're not going to evolve with the backwards compatibility because they lose money that way. Xbox can afford to do this because it makes sense. They want to kind of make the Xbox what the PC is. PlayStation wants to earn every penny that they can, and they're going to try to do it through streaming.
Mega, I gotta say something here. Like when it comes to evolving, I've gone on record saying that these companies, at the end of the day, their main goal at the end of the day is to have their gaming as a streaming service. So when it comes to evolution and all that stuff, granted, whatever performance it has or it doesn't have, I think that Sony came out first with the PlayStation Now. And what's interesting to me is when they come out with a PS5, are they going to be, forwards and backwards compatible with the PS4? Because they already kind of showed their future trump card, like that these companies are trying to go for anyway. They already put their streaming service out there. So I don't know, like that's the interesting part to me when it comes to a PS5. Is it going to have forwards and backwards compatibility? Because at the end of the day, they have their streaming service there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And yeah, it would kill PlayStation Now. Just think about this. It's not they can't go into the direction of what Game Pass is. Microsoft was smart to wait and then to implement EA Access to see what was going on. How would the public react to EA Access? Mm-hmm. And if PlayStation was smart, they would have added EA Access as well, and probably would have changed PS Now to what Game Pass is. But the problem was they didn't want anybody taking any bit of the money that they were projecting that they were going to get, because they wanted to recoup the money that they spent on Gonkai. Now, these new consoles are going to be both cloud-based. There's no doubt about it. But
it's going to have the option, man.
I think both consoles are going to be cloud-based. I even read a report from the Final Fantasy 15 director that was already stating that. So they're already probably that's probably where we're going to get the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Is where
both systems are cloud-based. Just the debate is if it's going to be dedicated cloud, or
I think they're going to be dedicated cloud,
or is it going to take a hybrid system like what you see in Crackdown?
Well, okay,
that's the debate to what's going on as far as that's.
I think they'll be both. There'll be different directions. I think Sony is going to try to take whatever angle that they can. Xbox. That's why Xbox has been buying so many cloud, companies, because they're gonna go all in for this, because they know that since Google is coming out with their console and they're going to stream.
That's their competition right there.
That's their competition. PlayStation is in another realm with what they're doing. And PlayStation is still going to try to hold on to the old gamer that's like Crap and Porter Rock and the Craps and the Porter Rocks, even though that's kind of crazy to see that those both they're in the same category.
You put them in the same category, yeah.
But they're old school gamers, and they don't want to evolve. They want to keep
everyone's up for a harsh reality one if that's the direction that where it all goes, because the harsh reality is it doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, gaming is changing.
Pure streaming doesn't work. For the games that we currently play right now, it's not going to work, and it's never going to work. I mean, you can do predictive rendering, you can do all this different technology. I mess around with it all the time. It's not very useful. It's for things that are not time sensitive. You always have to have a physical piece of hardware there. The only thing that makes any sense is like a turn-based type gameplay. Yeah. So like a Final Fantasy kind of makes sense for a pure cloud game, because you can get more power out of it that way. But the harsh reality, you always need a box. There's no way around it.
It's oh, my bad, Mecca, go ahead.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, it's funny to me how everybody's throwing out there that PlayStation would be the first to drop the PlayStation 5 or the next generation console, because when I look at it, what Xbox has done with having the family of devices, and even going into the next generation, even if they change the name of the Xbox, to not something different than the Xbox One, you're still, I mean, you can almost guarantee forward and backwards compatibility and stuff like that. So it would actually be easier and then like what I said about the hardware underneath the hood of the Xbox One X, and how they kind of made that infrastructure for the future, not just the X, but moving forward. They're actually in a better spot, in my opinion, to come out with a next generation console than their supposed competitors with Sony. You see what I'm saying?
But this is you're right to a degree, and man, that God of War beating the shit out of Hercules is just so good. Oh man, it's so, I love that. But this is the thing for me that I feel where PlayStation is dropped the ball, and that was with the Pro. If the Pro was anywhere near the power level as the X, then there could be more reason for PlayStation to kind of hold off. But while Digital Foundry is hoping that PlayStation comes out in 2019, is because they're going to get tired and they're going to lose viewers by constantly saying that the X version is better than the PlayStation Pro version every time. Because the more that the developers keep working with the X, the better the X is going to get. The more the access that they have with the games are going to look better. They're going to perform better. They're going to start hitting things. They're going to start achieving levels. So that's why we've been saying that the X is almost future proof for the next 3-4 years, because of the fact that machine is still going to have more under the hood than what the Pro is going to be. So PlayStation is going to have to hurry up, or that power narrative is going to come back and bite them in the ass eventually. So they're going to bring that, and PlayStation and then Xbox is just waiting in the wings, because as they stated, they'll never fall short again. So they're just waiting. They want PlayStation to come as quick as possible, because when they come out with their console the next year after that, it's going to be twice as powerful. So Xbox has played their cards right. Coming to this point, it's just going to take a couple of years to people to start understanding that this makes more sense at the end, where Xbox is going to have the advantage, especially with the backwards compatibility. That's going to be huge for them.
Nice. I do want to say the poll is up. We ran through. You guys saw all the gameplay. The poll is up. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Predator? Is it going to be me? Or is it going to be the Dun? Anyway.
Oh, damn.
But Dark has been really quiet, man. I want to hear what he thinks about what, my boy Dick over at DF decides that he says that, next generation is 2019. Dark, do you believe him? Do you agree with him? What's going on, man?
All I gotta say is Dick doesn't make Dick. Really? See, I was trying to give K Vega his shine. I was giving him, trying to let him talk, let him, do his rant and shit and all that crap.
Dark.
Then he's got to,
Dark, what happened was he got dizzy from all them 180, 1280 spins and stuff.
That
like
he wasn't
SSX.
landing?
Yeah.
All that stuff that he wasn't landing. Kept on hitting his head so much. But no, man, Digital Foundry, man, they just... Why do they keep doing this shit? Like, why do they keep doing this to themselves? Like, they just keep proving that, that they hate on, the consoles that we have right now. Like, it's like, yeah, they've put out, many videos about, the X being the most, powerful console and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, but we got to get prepared for 2019. 2019's coming, it's coming. But it's like, okay, yeah, but like, do we even know if those consoles are going to come in 2019? Like, we don't. Like, I have to agree with you, but I think 2020 is probably the best bet right there.
I think Xbox will eat a year from the mid-gen refresh. I think they'll eat a year, and they'll come out same time, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they almost kind of have to come out at the same time. If PlayStation comes out before Xbox, then PlayStation probably will win again. If vice versa, with Xbox coming out first, then Xbox will probably take the gold. But if they come out at the same time, like they did when 2013 came around, it was kind of a battle, and I think a lot of people like that.
Yo, Dark, not for anything, man. You're just kind of showing how finicky this industry has become. Just because basically you're like, well, if Sony comes out first, they win. If Xbox comes out first, they'll probably win. It's like just a race to come out first. Not even about power or performance.
I mean, that's exactly what
like
that's what it's become down. That's what it's come down to, man.
That is hashtag petty right there, man.
Whoever comes out first, that's who wins, because at least that's how it seems. Because it's like every year, when 2013 hit, it was just like, I know everybody wants to forget about 2013, but like, we gotta remember that still happened. But
I actually scratched that year out of my calendar. It doesn't.
It's like, remember the album.
But Xbox. but that's the thing.
I can't scratch this out.
But Xbox did whatever they.
Shut up, K-Mega. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, man, just shut up and let me say what I got to say, and then you jump in. Damn, Otter. I think I was just gonna say I can't get past 2013 because I'm playing on the OG Fat right now, waiting for my X to come back from being fixed because it's supposed to come Monday. So I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, your ex got the Persona 5 herpes, man.
They got the penis demon. Yeah.
Oh jeez. But it's like 2013. Damn it, 2013 happened, right? But Xbox did what they could to kind of douse the flames, and it still didn't work. So it was like whoever comes out first, which PlayStation came out first at that time. It was just like everybody was just like, oh my god, like it's PlayStation. PlayStation's gonna win the whole time, and it's like that's what it seems to come down to. And I know the Wii U came out before that, but it was just like It's like Nintendo has always kind of been that company that's just kind of been on the sideline in a way. They're always on their own kind of like pedestal.
They're on their own farm.
With Xbox, and
they're not even on the farm with everybody else. They're on their own
yeah,
farm.
they're not. Yeah, they're really not with Xbox and Sony. Like you never see them going head to head with Xbox or them over there at PlayStation. It's just it's crazy to think that Digital Foundry thinks that there's going to be a 2019 release of PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox. I just can't see it because Xbox just came out with the X. Like
yeah, if it's a mid-gen refresh, Dark, like cutting it 2 years short, that they would get hung for that anyway, man.
So my question is, what do you think is the right cadence there?
2020.
What do you mean?
No, I mean saying for like 2020, is that every 3 years, every 4 years? Where did they have you as a customer?
Well, see, the thing is,
4 years.
4 years for you, Dark?
4 years for you?
3 to 4. 3 to 4. It depends,
I'm looking at what they've already done. All right, they started the generation 2013, right? Mid-gen refreshes in 2016, 2017. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the years in between there, and I'm trying to see, well, when should the next generation start then? Because I have an X. Snaps is going to get an X as soon as we get taxes in.
Yes, like next week. And then my PUBG will run much smoother. I'm sorry, you guys have been working because it's weather.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how's work going? Everything cool?
Yeah, we just shut down deliveries because, people have to have their cookies while it's snowing out. Come on now.
People are crazy, man.
It's called Toll House or Betty Crocker. Do it yourself, people.
That's not doing it yourself. It's called a bag of flour, Xbot, and a mixing bowl. That's how you do it yourself.
That's right.
Now you're asking way too much from me. I'd rather just have straight cookie dough.
I
won't even bake that
bastard.
shit. I'll just eat cookie dough, man. Whatever.
No, she wants you to be a chemist, is what she's asking.
Guys, why is there still only 36 thumbs up when there's 64 people watching? All you lurkers, hit that thumbs up button, please.
Hashtag lurkers.
Yeah.
That
thumbs up button. We won't tell anybody.
Just call you guys a bunch of LARPers? That's not cool.
Yeah.
It'll be our little secret.
Well, Snaps, what do you think? I'm not sure if I put this in a DM. I just kind of. Oh yeah, I put it in kind of last minute because it's interesting to me. Digital Foundry says next generation 2019. What do you think? Do you think? First of all, I think they're full of shit. I think it's like
no.
2020. But
probably not 2019. That's probably when they'll start working on the next generation of consoles. But I mean, we just got an X recently, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, this is our mid-console refresh, mid-gen refresh, or whatever. So we don't really need anything right now, And the fact that people aren't overly greedy, like I would be mad if. What's up, Fana B? I've been here. It's just I've been not here because I've been working. But
hey, my
I feel
chat
like
froze. I don't see anyone.
The chat's been freezing all night. It's freaking YouTube. You gotta love it. I was like, nobody's chatting for like 20 minutes, and I refresh the page, and everybody's
fix your
having
shit,
a whole
Google.
conversation. But anyways, like if we just pay $500 for an Xbox One X, I definitely do not want to pay another $500 for a brand new console next year. So I mean, I would be happy waiting till 2020, and I think they're out of their fucking mind.
Yeah,
that is all.
I think 2019 is when you're going to start getting the teasers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've been working on the hardware and with Xbox and what they did with the X. Like I've said it time and time again. I'll probably say it 100 times before E3. All they really have to do is drop in a more powerful CPU, more powerful GPU, and you'll see the benefits just go through the roof.
We'll probably start seeing teasers for PlayStation. Don, stop laughing.
I'm laughing at the fact that people still think it's 2019. Like, I'm sorry, I can't get over that.
I think PlayStation's at a point where they feel like they need to, make a move or something because they've been so quiet. But go ahead, Don. I want to hear what you're laughing about again.
No, I'm just loving the fact that they think there's going to be new consoles in 2019. Like, that's the biggest far-fetched thing they can have. It's ridiculous.
Don, you're gonna be playing PUBG later tonight. You're gonna be running over your teammates, being like 2019.
He's not playing in my game. He's banned from most snaps. So Red Dragon did tweet how the VR headsets are marked down to $199. I don't know if it's this week or next week or whatever, which is a really great deal. But that might mean that we might see some new VR stuff coming. And VR is, coming to fruition a little bit more these days.
It's coming along.
People are accepting VR. A lot more people who previously said a lot of bad shit about it are now kind of like getting used to it. It's more of a norm, and they're warming up to it. So there might be some pretty epic VR news in that aspect, but that might be the only new hardware that we see other than, Xbox throwing out controllers at us every other day. That shit's aggravating.
Yeah, that is true.
Give us our damn custom consoles, not our custom controllers.
Can they just make Design Lab a little bit cheaper, though? I'm saying.
You know what? Can they make a Design Lab for your console? Come on, I would love to sit there and customize my console.
Actually. Yeah, because that Jordan Xbox One X. Oh my god!
Let me go work for Xbox. We'll have custom consoles.
Oh.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
Hey, but custom consoles doesn't cost that much. Krylon's like $6 a can. You're good to go.
Yeah, I'm not spray painting my X, man. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not doing it.
I'll spray paint your X, you guys. I'll take care of that for him. I'll put it on Twitter. He'll get really upset, and what's he gonna do about it?
Well,
nada. Bob will be chewing on the paint chips afterwards.
Here's the deal. I'm the moderator. I'm the one that's supposed to keep things in line, keep things moving. So I don't think we heard from Pred yet when it comes to 2019 next generation PlayStation 5, new Xbox, whatever the hell they want to call it. What do you think, Pred? Is this real?
No. Short answer.
Nobody says yes. Nobody said yes, man.
If anyone was gonna do it, it would be Sony, and if I was in Microsoft's position, I would let them do that. Go ahead and push your shit out the day you drop that shit. Is the day we announce ours. Not necessarily announce it. Kind of do like they did last year with the X. Kind of come up with that. Something at E3. Say this is what we got coming. It's coming next year. Give us a year lead time on it, but I don't think 2019 is really soon. I don't think the infrastructure is there as far as pricing for graphics cards and shit like that is ready for that yet.
Well, what's the 3-year window from the Pro?
Say it again?
What's the 3-year window from the Pro?
2019.
So do you think that maybe they're running off the assumption that their mid-gen
end of 2019,
reset,
by the way.
Their mid-gen reset was 3 years, right?
Possibly, yeah.
So
I can see an announcement.
Do you think that's where they jumped in? Because if that's the mid-gen, technically in 3 years they're going to release something in that time.
I can see one of the companies announcing something in 2019, but as far as it actually releasing, no. And like I said, if I was playing my cards like Microsoft is, I would go ahead and let Sony drop their console. Like, let it come out. Let them the day they announce their console is releasing, or shortly after their announcement that they're working on a console, I would drop that we're working on a console too, and it will be out, and we'll show it at E3 the next year, and just kind of take a little steam from Sony, because like we've all said, Microsoft has come out and pretty much said we will not lose the power.
And then reduce the price of all the Xbox Ones to ridiculous numbers.
and that'll be your telltale sign right there. Once they stop producing the S, if that ever happens, which I seriously doubt, but they start dropping the price of the X, especially if Sony announces something, that's your telltale sign right there. They're working on another console, and it's going to get announced in the next year.
Nice. Well, guys, we pretty much covered everything. There was a couple things. One was about California, kind of like being the center point in the video games industry. Not in terms of China. China is kind of like their own entity. They're just letting people into it now, but there are so many studios that are based in California, and it seems like they're losing traction in that. Plus, we didn't really get into Kingdom Come Deliverance, so we might hold that for next week, because we have at least one person on the panel that has played that game. But I really like the topics that we did cover today. I thought it was an awesome show. But you know what I say, like a 40-year-old with a comb over, man. We got to get those plugs in. And I want to start with K Mega because he worked double duty today. He did a show earlier this afternoon. He did, he came with the, as part of the family with Next Podcast. So, Mega, why don't you let people know exactly where they can get a hold of you, unravel that scroll, let people know, what shows you're going to be on and such, man.
All right, man. Yeah, you can check me out on the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire, 8:30 Central. I guess it'd be 9:30 Eastern in California time. I think it's 5:30, 6:30.
California
Pacific
time don't count, man.
Okay, whatever. But regardless, yeah, you can check us out, man. We had our 1 year anniversary last episode, man. It was pretty cool, man. We talked about it. I can't believe that far. Holy shit. Nah, at least kept the ladies with us that long. But anyway,
I'm surprised the ladies haven't killed you yet.
Man, Lady Infamous always got a damn switchblade on him, man. I gotta watch what I gotta say around her. But anyway, yeah, man, and then also BGST. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. And yeah, man, multiplayer. I don't know if Z gave it up because he's doing something else with Broadband Bullies, man. That'd be cool for me. I can have some free time to work on that superior gameplay. And then also I will be doing a sports podcast probably by the time that the NBA playoffs come. So hope you guys will check that out because I love talking about sports. If you have a
heavy NBA show, I am down to
it's going to be heavy sports. I want to get people from each coast.
Yeah, but I'm talking
to
NBA. I that's my favorite. Like basketball is my favorite sport. I really get into NBA stuff and stuff like that. So if you have like a lot of NBA topics, man, holler at me. I will come through and drop that knowledge, man.
All right, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And then also, yeah, man, sub my channel, man. K Mega 405. Take your asses out there, man. Y'all listen to me. Y'all know me, man. I need them subs, Jack. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I'm ready to catch. I'm quest for 10,000. I want 10,000, Jack. Let's go.
Maybe if you do another Dev in the Gamer, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
yeah,
the Dev in the Gamer, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can't rely on Don. Don is not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Look, he's got a dancing freaking toad, man. How can I rely on Don?
Right, lazy devs, right? Like putting 60 hours in a week and something Dev in the Gamer.
Anyway. Yeah, we'll be doing the Dev in the Gamer whenever we do it. That's the one.
That's what makes it special, right?
But that does what make it special. Yeah. So, nice. But anyway, yeah, that's it, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, man. It's always a pleasure.
Tonight, man.
Yeah, glad to hear Snap's voice, man. Yeah, it's always great to have her
here. Did she
thank you. The voice of reason.
Did she keep me in check tonight? I don't know.
She did. She actually did.
It's okay. Wait till we get off the show. I'm gonna smack you in the side of your head and be like, "Punk shit."
Yo, bring it. Bring it. I'll slap that mod out your hand. Break that tank.
I'm gonna stream something tonight. I just don't know what to stream.
Sea of Thieves.
You losing at NBA 2K?
Oh, hold on. What did all
they say stream some SSX tricky? No.
Pong. Oh, you see that?
Yes. Dang. Yes. That was
Shit to hate me.
On that note, oh snaps, you just dropped that bomb right there. But
I'm here for everybody. I'm on both sides of the fence.
Queen neutral.
I guess so.
She didn't sound too happy about that, but it's always fun having you on the show. Of course, work. They just sense when you're on a live show all the time, and they're like, they start calling you and stuff like that. But it was good having you on. What do you want to plug? Your channel, social media?
No, you guys know where to find me. Now you guys can find me on Twitter at girlscangame22, and probably everybody who's here in the chat already knows me. If you're a lurker and you're not, familiar with me, I'm OSnap. It's Mel here on YouTube, Twitter. I just let you know it's Girls Can Game 22. I do stream every Monday and Wednesday, so long as I'm not working, from 8 p.m. Eastern time until 12 a.m. Usually we play PUBG. I love PUBG. It's my favorite game. We don't play with the Don though, so definitely come join us. what we do is 2-round rotation, so we can get quite a few people in on the game. My chats are always open for everybody to join. I love playing with the community. So thanks for having me on the show, guys. It was so awesome to hang out with you, or at least half hang out with you. I know I've been spotty, but it was definitely fun. So I appreciate the invite always.
Yo, Mega, I think she went longer than your plugs, man. That was amazing.
I just said words and things. I didn't plug everything. Shut up. I'm never coming back. We're done.
Don't believe her, guys. Don't believe her.
As we signing out on my gameplay, look at that, lovely.
Oh no!
That winning gameplay.
What's lovely is what I did with the graphics. You know what I'm saying? I made that gameplay winner logo over in the side. I put that gold filling on where it says next and everything. I did a job there, man. All right, fine. Nobody agree with me. Fuck you all. Our normal special guest, Mr. Dark Optimus, man. I know you are the most part-time, full-time panelist on the next podcast. I know you do another show. You might want to let people know about that and where they can get a hold of you social media-wise, man.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name. You can always check me out on the Quest podcast every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And you guys can always find me here on next podcast doing, part-time, full-time, stuff like that. But yeah, man, it was a fun show. It was good to be back.
Nice. And for people who don't know, Quest Podcast, that's with that all-star YouTube podcaster M. Baines. That if you don't know what the show is, that's the show.
We're hopefully gonna get him a star on the Walk of Fame soon here.
It's gonna work. It's gonna happen, man. Like I think they should change the name from Quest Podcast to M. Baines and Crew. That's what I think they should do.
M. Baines and Crew. He would love that too. He'd be like, man.
He's like, yo, he's over there. He's somewhere right now. I agree with Bot. Like, he's not even watching the show. It's like a sixth sense. He's like, for some reason, I'm agreeing with Xbot right now.
I just agree with him.
He's out to dinner at Red Lobster, and he's like, I agree with Bot.
Yeah, he screamed it out, top of his lungs at Red Lobster. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yo. Let's move on to Predator. Yo, Pred, I gotta say the gameplay tonight, absolute fire. I might not agree with you about last week, but man, you brought it this week, dude. Why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you? Man, you know the deal.
Hey man, y'all just heard it. He said vote for me.
I said it without saying it.
You guys know you can find me everywhere. 6 man of the gaming community. Next podcast, Saturdays. I heard that Console Corner is coming back on, was it May 5th, I think? March 5th? I don't know if I want to be on that show or not. I'm still trying to get on some other shows, too. I still do my own thing on Sundays when I get a chance. Predator_H2OS on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Steam. I'm also on Switch, on Twitter, pretty much everywhere. Just hit me up. Find me. You guys know I like the game, so hit me up and vote for Pred.
Hashtag vote for Pred. Yeah. All right.
Listen to this damn support. That's ridiculous, man.
What happened?
Come on. I mean, listen to this. Vote for Pred, everyone. When I said vote for K Mega, I get.
Don't worry, K Mega. I got your back. I told the people in the chat, vote for K Mega.
No,
that's what I'm talking about.
No.
Much love. Much love.
I think we're missing we're missing some plugs here, man. Let's see. We got Dark.
Don.
We got Dark. We got O Snaps. We got
me.
Mega.
You got
we
Don's
got Predator. Oh yeah, the Don, man. Yo, Don, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you, what you've been up to, and all that good stuff.
Usually there's a link below, but Bot has decided to no longer do links for everybody's Twitter.
We're done. No, it's because of Restream, man. I got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, but the best way to follow what I'm doing is follow me on Twitter, which is Don_KTR, which stands for Kiss the Ring, and then my gamer tag is pretty much the same thing without an underscore. And yeah, I'm going to be dropping a video tomorrow on Happy Little Polygons. basically, I'm going to be getting the community involved, and we're going to talk about where I'm going to release my game first, on PlayStation or on Xbox. We're going to look at the pros and cons of both platforms in regards to that, and I really want to hear what you guys want to see as far as that's concerned.
They got to pay that man if they're going to make it exclusive.
I'm going to have to put some work if they also
don't support if he doesn't make it exclusive.
But no, we're going to talk about it, and just a hint to everybody, it's not going to be on any streaming services because those don't work. So we're going to talk about the ID programs on both platforms.
Nice, man. And on that note, guys, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, man. They just gave me a blank page that just had the show on. I didn't even have the chat or anything. Man, Google, fix your shit, yo, for real. But on that note, guys, yo, gamers got a game. It is Saturday night. They got to, we got to get the controllers in our hands. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I love seeing all you guys come and check out the show live. What happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm teaching Seth how to drive a boat, not a ship. A boat.
You just interrupted my sign off.
My bad. I don't now, you know what? You're fired, but I'm taking over the next podcast. You guys done. Yay!
But no,
quitting my job. I own the show.
She just wants to quit her job. That's all she says, like every day.
For real.
Like, Bot, why won't you let me quit my job? Why won't you let me quit my job?
Chat, hit number 1 if you guys want me to take over the next podcast. Woo. It doesn't matter. Continue.
Hostile takeover, people. I don't even know.
This is how. Just so you guys know, this is how she plays Sea of Thieves.
Indeed.
She basically puts Xbot in the break, and then she just takes over.
Yo, she convinces people to
Mel just took over the next.
Hold on, that was all Stinking Corpse. Stinking Corpse just repeatedly put 1. Don, for real?
I was the first one to put
Dark Optimus.
I was the first one. Damn it.
Yeah.
See, Xbox has always told me that the podcast has got to evolve, and I think the only way to do that is put stamps in charge.
In the immortal words of Eric Cartman, I hate you guys. But no.
If anybody's interested in Agents of Mayhem, it is like $9 on PlayStation.
Nice. That's a really good deal.
I'm buying it right now, so I'm
That's his gameplay for next week, right there.
Hell no! I'm gonna have that Daylon. What?
You need to stop playing. You need to stop buying games, man. You just need to finish a couple and then buy a new.
I beat The Witcher.
Hey guys, you beat The Witcher? Oh, you can buy 2 if you beat The Witcher.
Hey
that's why I bought 2 games.
Guys, do you want to let these gamers go game, or do you want them just to hear your conversation? Like,
you know what? I mean, we went all damn day. I mean, I did 2 podcasts and I was like, no, anyway, let's get out of here, man. I got to eat these.
Guys, like I was saying in the chat, the community, you guys, you inspire us to come together every Saturday to give you the best possible show, most entertaining, most informative that we can. We thank you guys so much for all the support, hitting up the super chat, making the chat live, man. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much. And as I like to say at the end of every show, we will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Toodle.
Determination to conquer all my ambitions, despite all the conditions. In light of my past decisions, made it to this position, and so my disposition. Not seeing